January 8th, 2007. This is Diehard Gamer Radio, episode 19.
You are listening to Diehard Gamer Radio, the source for off-mainstream video game news and topics. Now your hosts, Murdock, Brian, and John.
Okay, welcome back to Die Hard Gamer Radio. I am Murdock, and I have...
Hear him roar.
Yeah, and as always, I have John and Brian, and Steve is out doing studies, and so we have our...
Slacking is what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's paying the man to teach him some lessons.
So we have our special guest host, Angry John.
As if one John wasn't enough.
Shut up.
And the roller coaster ride starts on its perilous descent.
Anger starts here.
Really, we just have to make sure our listener can figure out the difference between the two of us.
Well, since our voices are uniquely distinctive, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Rising, rising, falling.
So, anyway, thanks for coming on to the show, John. The other John, not John.
The other John.
Yeah.
My other brother, John.
Hey, don't forget, we know like 5 people named Mike, so.
Doesn't everybody? It's like 7 degrees of Mike.
Yeah.
7 degrees of Mike?
Well, I guess you got to know 7 of them for that, but, point being, everybody knows a Mike.
Well, there's 1 degree I can do without, so.
Anyway, let's get on to the news. So our first news bit is that Dragon Quest IX has been announced for the Nintendo DS.
And I hear the Japanese are just so enthusiastic about it.
Some of them.
Well, yeah, like 5% of them.
I think there was like I don't know if it was a Photoshop or an actual photo of the cartridge, and it's like 2 cartridges.
Jeez. When it gets to that point, go to disc. Okay.
Why would
Get a hard drive.
Why would they need to?
Well, yeah, no, hey, that'll give it Nintendo excuse to make another handheld system. Here's one that uses discs.
No, we'll just make another cart add-on on the bottom.
Don't give them ideas.
It's the double cart.
Hey, you just have to use the GBA port in the front for your memory expansion.
Oh, God.
So,
I'm surprised they aren't using a DS and a GBA cart so they could fill both slots in your DS Lite at the same time.
Yeah, they can have like the backgrounds on one disc.
Music
and,
on the other.
I don't know why they would need to have 2 cartridges, though.
Well, that's,
if
like I said,
it's a 2 gigabyte SD card that's the same size as one of those Nintendo DS cartridges. You ought to be able to make the thing as big as you have to.
Yeah.
No, that's just a screenshot I saw. That it may have been some idiot doing a Photoshop.
Let's hope.
But
Well, where did you see this screenshot?
The interwebs?
Yes.
Oh, wow. There's not like 1 or 2 sites I could
Stay
just
off
go
the
to and find
tubes.
this, right? I mean, what, was it like Magic Box or?
It may have been that French site.
Oh, that French site, because there's not a lot of those.
So that helps. You couldn't even read
No.
the caption on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, wait, why is there 2
caption might have
cartridges?
said,
Why
"This
are
is
there
fake."
2
Yeah.
cartridges on here? I'm like, oh, whatever. So,
You see double vision.
Could they be doing a Rumble Pack thing or something?
Do you need to have an individual Rumble Pack for every game that comes out?
Why do you need a Rumble Pack on a Japanese RPG?
I don't know, but that's what
Speaking
they've used
of,
the GBA
have you even
port
seen
before.
the new Slim Rumble Packs out yet?
no.
They haven't released them yet, have they?
No.
Is
not
it
in
going
this
to rumble
country.
every time you have a random
Jesus,
encounter?
the system's
or?
been out since, what, June?
Actually,
know.
that could work. If it like rumbled slightly, that means you're close to like a random encounter, and then the more it rumbled, that means the closer you were to a monster. I could see that working.
Avoid the mediocrity.
And if it rumbles really hard, that means someone's made a doujinshi of the RPG.
Or maybe it just rumbles whenever
Yeah,
you
and
get
if it's
near one of the buried
and if it's
slivers.
Final Fantasy, it's guaranteed to be yaoi dojinshi.
If your girlfriend avoids you but finds a need to keep that DS Lite warm, well, you'll know why.
But Square Enix has said that they are expecting to sell 5 million units of Dragon Quest IX when they release it.
Well, they're not going to do that in Japan, I'll tell you right now.
I don't know. The average for Dragon Quest in Japan is like 3 million.
Yeah,
just in
but
Japan.
All the initial reports they did said people are just tired of it. They're not really that interested in it. And They don't care that it's on a portable.
I saw
They're
some
gonna
head
buy it.
scratching over it all, but they just weren't sure about it. It looked like the worst complaint about it, though, wasn't the move to Nintendo DS, but the move to a real-time battle system. That was making people nervous.
Just changing just enough.
I don't know. I really enjoyed the almost real-time battle system in Final Fantasy 12. So
Well, I guess that's kind of real-time. It's more like turns where you don't have to press the button and wait for it.
yeah.
So it's slightly turn-based.
Well, basically, it's playing World of Warcraft without anybody else. So.
But the characters look like they're peeing on each other.
Well, that's what makes
With
for
the attack
quality.
line.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to our next news bit here. The PS3 kiosk units are freezing on purpose, and
It's bullshit.
when Sony was asked about it, it's like, well, we make them freeze on purpose so that people don't play the kiosks all day.
That's just yet another bit of Sony random gibberish that makes no sense. Really, the entire company just needs a gag.
I
thought they were a gag. What are you talking about?
Well, they have been. I
Good
mean,
Rocky is the king of gag.
I don't.
I played that fighting game. It's pretty bad.
I mean, Sony's just doing everything right now. I mean, IMDb had a report on Thursday about a Blu-ray movie that won't play on any Blu-ray player, but will play on PS3s.
Congratulations!
Good job,
You
Sony.
Suck.
Is it a good movie?
No,
Okay.
it's a recent movie. I can't remember it. I have to check IMDb again.
Oh my God! What
Wouldn't
is the
think it'd
point?
Be,
How do you
hard to
isolate
test
your market?
compatibility when you've got 5 players. Okay, then.
I remember this back when DVDs first came out. We were going through this.
You know, and the thing is, I don't think they're freezing on purpose. I think that's just Sony covering their ass. Because I remember when they first released.
This isn't really Sony covering their ass.
The
This was a specific rumor about MotorStorm. One Sony manager who was saying that, yeah, we made MotorStorm freeze on purpose so people had to leave the kiosk. It's bullshit. It doesn't happen.
Well-
it's not the official Sony line.
Well, I know that when they first came out, the kiosks, because they weren't designed right, the PS3s were just
those are
overheating and
overheating,
shutting
yeah.
down. So.
Is that the Blu-ray of death? Yeah, well. I take them where I get them.
Yeah.
Take it back. Jeez.
So
No take-backs.
So next, gamers need to play money to play the Halo 3 beta. So
Hey, kid, go rob your
Why?
grandma.
Yeah, I don't see the
Play?
big deal. They have to pay money to play Halo 3. It's called your Xbox Live subscription.
Yeah,
So
but you're
is
paying
this,
money on top of it? That's bullshit.
Well, is this money going to go towards the purchase of Halo 3? Is this just like solely a fee that you pay to get in the beta and completely separate from playing the game?
I mean, how much are they charging them? If they're charging them
Think of it as
$5
your first patch.
if they're charging them $5, big whoop. If they're charging them $19.99, yeah, fuck that.
they haven't given a price yet on
I did see the thing.
beta.
I did see the little demographic they were talking about, and they said, or they asked the question, how much would you pay? And
Oh, that
would
was
you
in
be willing to?
that was in this month's EGM, yeah.
Yeah, and
It was
they
a poll.
Like 80% said that they would pay.
Yeah, said screw it, I'm not gonna. I wouldn't pay.
$5 they would pay.
Yeah, but then there was that. Then there was that 7% that said, "Yeah, I'll pay whatever the fuck they want."
Yeah.
Which is perfectly fine for a beta. Didn't they get something like 1 million beta signups the first day?
Yes.
You know they were going to make money regardless on this.
It's like the whole thing. They might just be looking for some way to narrow this field down.
It's Halo
Trying
3.
to cut our R&D market. What if we charge for the beta?
Brilliant. The game isn't even out yet, and it's already one of the biggest selling titles of 2007 on pre-order alone.
Did this happen with Duke Nukem like 10 years ago?
Yeah, strangely enough, Duke Nukem Forever not on that 2007 release list.
Yeah, what a
Yet.
surprise.
It'll pop up somewhere. It's like that thing that just keeps coming back.
So after the
And then disappear.
So after
if they
the,
can release Prey, they can release Duke Nukem Forever.
Well, we can pray that they release Duke Nukem, but I don't see it happening.
So after the oceans have flooded and there's
And turned
Arizona
red.
Bay.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Red
Duke Nukem
Tide!
Forever.
Oh my God, it's Duke Nukem.
I'm not sure if Duke Nukem Forever is even a joke anymore, if it's just history.
He does have a point
Phantom
there.
history.
So, yeah.
It's the vaporware story that never ended.
Of course, Bungie's like, hey, we have hats made of money.
Well, no, I mean Duke Nukem Forever coming out on the Phantom, yeah. So.
Well, yeah, they must own NDS lights.
So next, Space Channel 5 announced for the Wii.
Boo!
Booey.
Is she going to have
Boo
a crotch?
earns. I was saying boo earns, yeah.
Now what now?
Is she going to have a crotch?
It's going to be a
I
Wii
don't know
crotch.
what the polygon count is of Nintendo Wii, and I'm not going to ask. But you can be uncoordinated with your white self, and Ulala will match whatever it is you're doing.
So
Or
maybe now
we're-
you're actually going to have to dance with the Wiimotes.
My
For all those guys that always wanted to look like a girl on the floor, here's your game.
They already have that game. It's called DDR, so.
the opinions of John do not. Never mind. Also rumored, well, Space Channel 5 was announced, but rumored was Knights on the Wii.
This hasn't been discounted yet either, so that might be kind of cool. That would be
Neither
pretty interesting to
confirmed
see
nor
what.
So,
yeah.
so next up, Seaman on the Wii, yeah.
God.
And maybe Echo the Dolphin.
I think Echo is actually going to be one of the.
It's
games
probably
you
on the
can
virtual
download.
console. I
Be amazed
hated
if
that
it wasn't.
game.
Seaman? I think.
No, Echo.
Go.
Oh, I think everybody hated Seaman, so. I can't wait for Sewer Shark on the
I just
Wii, yeah.
downloaded Super Star Soldier. I had to try a game out. That
Dude,
seemed like
you
one
could
of
have
the
just
better
got
ones.
over my house and played it.
Yeah, but I mean,
I
it gave
have
me
it
an
on a
excuse to try
turbo
it out
chip.
and see how the system works.
And?
the download was instantaneous. And
Well,
the cool
how-
thing is you can save the download to your SD card too. So
What is it, like 256K or
Yeah.
something? It better be fast.
yeah, granted it was a blink, but it was kind of cool, and it fills up another one of those little TV boxes on the Wii thing,
Oh.
the Wii menus.
Well, that's totally better than downloaded the ROM then.
I'm sitting there wondering, I'm looking at this thing when I buy it, and you go into the Wii menu, and you've got literally 12 of these little TV screens up there.
Yeah, my question
one of
is
them's
when.
your Wii, one of them's your Wii system or whatever game, and then one's the Me, and then the other three are like your online channels. I'm like, what the hell is going to take up all these other little boxes? And then they got arrows left and right, so you have like another 12 and another 12. And I think it's all the downloaded games you get. It's just
Well,
virtual console stuff mostly.
By the way, Brian, have you had a chance to try out that weather game that came out on the Wii?
Oh yeah, it's
It's raining in Singapore.
But you're playing it wrong.
I will admit it's kind of cool to zoom out, zoom in, and then grab the map and pull it along so you can go to wherever you
Well,
want to see the weather. But
Also,
that's about the most
when they
exciting
finally do
thing.
release like Jackal, Life Force, and Contra on the what is it, the virtual console where you can download
Yeah.
them or whatever, how the hell are you going to do the Konami code? Are you going to wave the Wiimote up, up, down, down?
No,
or-
you just use the classic controller.
Oh,
Or you play with a GameCube controller. Yeah.
I think it'd be more interesting if they made you actually wave the Wiimote up, up, down, down, left, right, left, right. So.
Well, you can turn it sideways and use it as a classic controller too. Granted, you've only got 4 buttons on there, but
Yeah. But at least works for classic Nintendo stuff.
I will say this.
yeah.
Blades of Steel needs to come out on it. I hate sports games, but Blades of Steel was pretty cool.
Yeah, the only hockey game where you got penalized for losing the fight. It's like, oh, you just got your ass kicked. Get in the penalty box.
That's when hockey was hockey.
What is it now?
Men on skates
Oh,
with sticks.
no.
Men on skates, beating the shit out of you.
So our next news bit here, the CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, is going on right as we speak.
Right now.
It's from January 8th, 2007 to January 11th, 2007.
But by the time you hear this podcast, it's going to be over.
I'll try and edit it before then.
Yeah, hey, the AVN Expo is going on right now, too.
The adult video show.
The adult video news, yeah.
Ah.
And
So
just,
if you went to both,
You
you
wouldn't
could get new porn to watch on your new HD TV.
Yeah.
you wouldn't believe what you can do with a Wii.
Well, there is some commingling of conferences, so.
Huh. So are they releasing porn on HD yet?
No.
Mm.
I mean, do you want to see, I mean, the girls, they look hot, but do you want to see, like, all the blemishes in HD?
Where all the
I
makeup's been
don't.
filled
Well, I
in.
just think
and-
that's kind of funny because, it seems
You know,
like
and,
porn
do you
drives
want
a
to
lot
see,
of-
like, the scars from their boob jobs and stuff?
It seems
stretch
like porn
marks.
drives a lot of new technology, so it's kind of interesting that porn isn't getting in on
Yeah,
the ground
you're
floor
right.
of this.
Porn was the only, what the hell am I trying to say? Well, they're the only ones who took advantage of the multiple angles on DVD. So.
Yep.
Holy zoomage. And porn has already reached the Wii, so shows how fast it took to do that. What,
Hey,
like a
porn
month
on
and
the
a half?
Wii? Wow. Yeah.
Well, it's only a little bit of porn.
Well, no,
It's just
I mean
Wii
it's
porn,
yeah,
but-
it's a pun unto itself. Porn on the Wii. So.
yeah.
Well, they need to use the Wiimote for something to that effect.
Now ladies are
related.
enjoying the Wii more
Well,
than
actually,
guys.
Well, we're
Or
gonna get
come
some
out with a
new
proctology
creative
simulation
accessories
for the
that
Wii.
plug into the
Yeah.
back of that.
what I like, I did see there's a
That
game
nunchuck.
coming out on the Wii. It's the next SSX game.
Yeah.
It's a snowboarding game, and when you do jumps, you actually draw your jump in the air with the Wiimote. They're showing it. It looks actually pretty interesting. So.
Some of the stuff that you're utilizing utilizing the controller for is actually pretty interesting. They're getting real creative with it, and I'm just hoping third-party software is really gonna.
I used the Wiimote to
get
clock a
on board.
black Labrador in the head. So.
Black Labrador? That's racist. Sorry.
Is that the Wii Dogs game?
Yeah. So, CES, have we heard anything, any news?
Haven't paid a damn bit of attention to.
Okay.
I bet they're selling like.
I know Bill
Probably.
Gates had his keynote.
Yeah, I'll make sure to go
Well,
home
that's
and
not yet.
watch
They just show it,
CNBC
and
tonight
you buy it and
just
ask
for
later.
that. So.
You can watch
So did you go
G4,
up
they're
and
doing
apologize
CES
for the
coverage.
Zune?
No, because that means I'd have to watch G4.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And they'd probably only sandwich in, it's 10 minutes of coverage in between, their 9 million showings of the Man Show and that really crappy Star Trek
Actually,
thing they do.
G4 actually served a purpose the other day. I got to see a little interview done between Brian Crescent, which writes for the Rocky Mountain News. He's also one of the writers on Kotaku.com, and the head writer from Joystick. And they got to talk head-to-head about the new systems and next generation. And
Yeah, but it doesn't really mean anything if you're watching that interview between, 5 Enzyte commercials.
Yeah, well, not just that. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, we're done interviewing, video gamers. Oh, let's go across the street and interview Brittany Sky.
well, I didn't mean that I watched G4. I actually went to Kotaku.com and watched the clip they posted of them on G4.
Okay, well,
Because
But at
no,
least G4 served a purpose.
seriously, have you
Internet
been
wins
to
again.
have you been to the G4 website? They have 15 video interviews on it, and 11 of them are interviews of porn stars.
well, they're doing
getting
they're
desperate.
doing both the CES and that
AVN Expo.
Yeah.
It's like, well, the games are fun, but I'd like to play with something else.
Yeah. Don't need any special controller for that one. Well, maybe the Zapper.
But it would make it more fun.
Maybe
Hey,
the Power Glove.
Have you played with a Wii yet?
All right. Next topic. Next bit of news here. The PS3 gray market dries up. Gee, what a surprise. Not a big shock.
Yeah, I saw that little graph of how high it was for the first about week, and then it started dropping and dropping and dropping.
And now these stores can't sell PS3s.
Oh, jeez,
There was a
stack
what was
of them
it,
at every Best Buy you go to, man. Literally.
Walmart. There's stacks of them in Walmart. It's like, let's see, Wii's, no Wii's. 360s, yeah, there's some 360s, but that's to be expected. Boom.
Been out for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. PS3s, there are more PS3s than 360s.
Well, they better come out with a good game for it then.
Yeah. Well, they did. One.
You mean more than one?
Yeah. No, seriously. Well,
Their other good game actually got delayed until, I think, next month, and that was the off-road Motor
the Motor
Storm.
Storm, yeah. No, somebody actually invited me over to the house to play their PS3, and I was like, "Do you have Resistance: Fall of Man?" He goes, "No." He says, "But you can come play Ridge Racer." I was like, "No, I'll come over when you get Resistance: Fall of Man."
You mean I can play Ridge Racer
Ridge Racer.
again?
Yeah.
At least Gran Turismo was a little more inventive. But
Well, not only that,
Jesus.
it's called Ridge Racer
Racer's
7,
the
but
same
from
goddamn
everything
game
I've
every
Yeah.
time.
from everything I've heard, it's Ridge Racer 6 with a couple extra cars and a couple extra tracks.
Well,
Congratulations, you've fallen for it again.
Yeah. It's like Tiger Woods. It's like, oh, we added 2 new golfers and 1 new course. Here you go. We call it Tiger Woods 2007, but it's so much better than 2006.
Because it's
Yeah.
got that 7 instead of the 6.
Yeah, and now you can play as, Retief Goosen or whoever.
well,
But-
that's exciting.
Yeah.
So, what's our next news item?
So yeah,
That's news.
the PlayStation. That's just sad. Did you see that sign outside? Was it GameStop? And it's like, please inquire about PlayStation 3s. They were like begging people to buy a PlayStation. I'm not making this up.
I'm
There's a
surprised they don't
screenshot
have it
of
in their little jingle when you call them on the phone. We've got PS3s anytime, any place. Just come
For
on
the
by.
love of God, buy
Can
one.
we help you?
That's always so painful at GameStop, too, because they have
God.
this 30-minute ad spiel they have to go through every time they answer the phone.
I was giving the guy crap about it last time. I was like, God, man, they pay you to say that whole thing?
Well, yeah, and now,
I think you got that on one breath. You're getting good.
no, and now GameStop, it's like, hey, do you have this game in? Well, yeah, but did you pre-order it? No? Oh, well, then I can't sell it to you.
So, time to go across the street to Best Buy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Congratulations, you
It
just
doesn't
lost
matter
another
that they
customer.
got. It doesn't matter that they got 20 copies in and only 8 people reserved it because you didn't reserve it. You can't have your copy. No, not yours.
Congratulations. There's a sign in your back that says you're a dick.
Yeah.
Well, there definitely seems to be the whole thing where I don't think GameStop really makes any money off their new games. And it's really looking like they just order enough to cover their pre-orders because they don't want to bother with stocking new games and trying to sell them.
No, that's because they take so damn many used
No,
games in.
hell, they don't want to bother with stacking games. I was in a GameStop once, and one of the employees came up to me and said, "Hey, if you stack all these games for me, I'll sell you this game for $5."
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Did you do it?
Fuck yeah.
It was a $5 game. What was the game?
It better have been Steel Battalion.
No, unfortunately, it was DOA 3 on the Xbox.
Ugh.
But at the time, it was brand new, so
Plus,
I got it
you
for
definitely
It's still one of the best-looking games on the Xbox.
I got it for $5,
too,
and at the time it cost like $39 or $49.99.
You could still eBay that for a good 10 or 15, so you
No,
made money.
I traded that. I traded that in a long time ago because while it looked pretty, it played like crap. So
I played like DOA.
yeah.
It's definitely got its own fighting style.
Yeah,
Or
I'm going to have to
lack
try that
thereof.
at GameStop. Yeah, I'll answer your phone if you sell me this game.
I don't think you can handle the spiel, man.
Oh, yes.
Well, what he did to give me the game for $5 is he put these bogus trade-ins into the computer. He's like, "Oh, you traded in this game, you traded in this game, and look, you just sell us $5." I was like, "Okay."
Wow, he totally lied through his teeth.
Yeah. Inventory might be real interesting
I
for
get
that
the
store
feeling that
coming up.
wasn't the first time.
He's done that, yeah. Well, he obviously wasn't the manager because he apparently was not worried about his loss numbers.
Well, what's funny enough is that GameStop no longer exists. You remember the GameStop that was on, was it Leetsdale in Monaco?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right next to my favorite chicken teriyaki place.
Yeah, it's funny enough. They shut that store down. So
They
That
just
place
never
did
did
suck.
any business.
Well, the employees there were definitely non-friendly.
Eesh.
Yeah.
not just that. I mean, they hired people off the street who didn't know anything about games. I once asked this lady, "Do you have this game?" She's like, "I'll have to check." And she's like, "What game is that on? What system is that on?" I mean, no offense, but it was freaking Grand Theft Auto Vice City. So she should have known that it was on the PS2 because it was huge.
That's why I'm still upset about the whole EB buyout, because the EB employees used to know what the hell they were doing. GameStop employees, not so much.
Well, when you get paid that little, you don't really give a shit.
Yeah, I think they'd probably rather be working at Barnes & Noble. So.
Do you have the new Harry Potter? What's that? I've never heard of that. What system is that on? Anyway, moving on. So next, the GamePro Expo becomes the Entertainment for All Expo.
When did GamePro decide they could do a convention, much less a magazine?
They can't do a magazine. They put it out, but that
Maybe
doesn't
that's
mean,
why they're
you
trying
know,
the convention.
that doesn't mean it's readable because, well, it's not.
Yeah, I'll give them props for at least doing something that's actually finally worthwhile.
So GamePro decided, well, E3's kind of not around anymore. Let's do our own convention. And this is where this came from. And they put a contest to see who could come up with the name, and apparently the best name they could come up with was the Entertainment for All Expo.
Yeah.
Sounds like
The only thing about this that scares
Or
me
the
is that
E
this
for All Expo.
The only thing that scares me is this might end up being what GamePro to conventions might end up being what Spike TV is to video game awards. You know?
But
they have to actually have games at the convention.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Here's
Well,
our GamePro convention tip number 1.
does
Shower.
G4 still even do their video game award show?
um,
G4ia is what it was called. It was actually, it was boring to watch. It was like any other award show, but unlike, Spike TV's crappy show, the awards actually went to the games they belonged to, so.
they didn't do one in 2006. So
yeah, it doesn't ring a bell with me either. I remember the first one they did, but that was all I ever saw.
They
Yeah.
don't appear to have pissed us off recently. So
Yeah.
probably
Well,
not.
yeah, like it's not like
Try
G4.
harder.
It's not like G4 actually talks about video games anymore. I remember when it was nothing but video games. Now it's Star Trek 2.0 or whatever the hell.
They're not
going to
be around much longer anyway, so I don't think they really care.
Really?
yeah, I
The
think,
channel is changing.
yeah, they got bought out by what, E or someone?
Yeah,
I don't know how they got bought out by E because G4 is owned by Comcast and E is owned by Comcast. So
I think they're just going to combine them then.
Something's happening because they're going to change from the video gaming side to more of like a Spike TV entertainment kind of channel.
But then
and
I
Spike
can watch
TV sucks
Spike
enough.
TV.
Yeah, they've already blown it too. So
Although they did show Afro Samurai this week, so
it looks like they're trying, but they're just doing very little.
They're just out of touch.
So I guess we'll find out what happens when they actually run it. See if
Yeah.
they just have one poor Korean developer there showing off the latest knockoff of Ambulance vs. Zombie.
Just say it has to be a knockoff, doesn't it?
yeah.
But the Entertainment for All Expo, or E for All, is October 18th through the 20th, 2007, with a $100 attendance fee.
Oh, we're busy that weekend.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Penny Arcade's Expo is going to still be more interesting.
Yeah, well, we're planning on going to PAX, aren't we? Still?
Yeah.
Isn't PAX going to be pretty close to that, too?
PAX is usually in August,
Yeah, pretty close to that.
which means no Otakon for you. Like you ever going anyway, so.
Yeah, not really on my calendar.
And isn't NDK like that same weekend?
No, NDK's in September. It's the third weekend of September.
Mm.
PAX
Okay.
will probably be the third weekend of August, so that's a whole month.
Ah.
Last year was just a fluke.
Yeah. So for $100, you can have Scary Larry and other Game Pro celebrities meet you
Yeah.
at the door.
Maybe
and
JD Roth will be there,
They'd have to pay me to show up.
since he hosted their crappy.
here's your Game Pro game tip for the Game Pro Expo.
Don't pay
shower.
Don't pay money for a bad expo.
Yeah,
Well, we don't know anything about the Expo
yeah.
other
I
than
know they're going to have a bunch of demo kiosks and released games for people to play.
Oh, maybe they'll have some PS3 kiosks that will overheat. Wow.
No, you get to play them for a full hour,
Yeah.
yeah.
maybe.
Unless, of course, you're number 20 in line.
Yeah, and
There's a
you know
lot.
we can always see if the
They're supposed to be.
PlayStation controller actually allows you to control eggs or blow up a Rubik's cube.
Or bounce a baby off a wall.
Yeah.
Creepy
Oh,
crying
I hear that's
baby.
in GTA 4.
Yeah.
Babysitting the hard way.
Yeah.
To see how many babies you can drop out the window before mom comes back.
Well, it's like Kaboom.
No, it's like the Michael Jackson game.
Hi-yo!
All right. So our last news bit is the PSP viral website gets owned. So Sony came out with a PSP-themed website at the All I Want for Xmas is a PSP.com, and I'm
Holy
not
bad
making this
campaign.
up.
What a annoying URL.
Holy
I'm
bad
not
campaign,
making
Batman.
this up. So what happened was that Kotaku and Joystick and a couple other the gaming sites got wind of this website, and they're looking and it's like, let's see who the register is for this URL. Why? It's a company that handles, viral websites. Methinks this is a viral website. And so they did some checking, and sure enough it was, and suddenly the All I Want for Xmas is a PSP.com suddenly got slammed with about 800 or 900 comments in their little
Forum.
website that said, yeah, you guys, no, this, we see right through it.
Well, it was also a really crappy website with a pair of guys doing their homemade hip-hop impression about the PSP.
Wow, reminds me of another really crappy website. It was called Kunicon.com.
Except it didn't have people dancing around like retarded chickens.
No, that just happened at Kunicon.
Yeah. And the thing with the website is, okay, well, first of all, if this was a website devoted to two guys who couldn't afford a PSP for Christmas, the first thing is, if you can't afford a PSP, how is it that you can afford, say, web space and a server and your own domain? And second of all, the website was way too well designed to be done by a couple of clowns.
Hip-hop clowns.
Yeah, that. And people saw right through it, and eventually Sony got to the point where their final post on the website was, this is a viral website.
You got it.
But it was done
You
in annoying
caught
leak
us.
speak, which made it even worse.
Yeah. So they failed at trying to be hip, and they got caught, and they're like, you caught us.
So it's like G4 again.
Yeah. And the website's been put down, but it's been mirrored on the consumerist. So
I'd be reasonably certain, though, that marketing company is not going to get hired by Sony again.
Well, it wasn't really the I don't think it's the marketing's fault, but like I said, these companies are just really way out of touch. If they wanted to make a real PSP viral website, they need to put it on something that screams low rent, like GeoCities, or put it on
They would need to look like all
Angel
the other
Fire.
PSP
Angel
sites that are already out
Angel
there.
Fire, or put it on MySpace.
Holy load time, Batman.
Yeah,
Yeah, just make a MySpace page. I mean, they all look the same, like shit. So.
yeah. MySpace, the place where people can't code, it's like Japan.
The only thing good about
It's
MySpace,
the GeoCities of this decade.
it's also the best place to put a band on.
Now,
All right.
Now.
No, later.
So,
This is
do we
now.
have any special features? I don't think we do.
We've got a movie review.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Okay.
call that special.
So, next, John is
Angry John.
Angry John is going to be talking about Dead or Alive. What the hell are you doing?
I don't know if it's
Punctuating conversation?
Yeah. So tell us how much this movie sucks.
A lot.
Is this the reason why you are angry?
No, I mean, well,
This just
movies
added
like
this fueled the anger.
movies like this. I mean, I'll put it to you. The worst movie I saw in 2006 was Ultraviolet, and this towers so far above Ultraviolet. I mean, but it still sucks. Well, where I start? Well, first of all, pretty much all the characters from the game show up in the movie, but the majority of them are in a cameo appearance. They show up for like 2 seconds and they're gone. It centers
That might
around.
be all the Zach I could handle.
Yeah.
That
Well,
screams
Zach
low budget.
actually has way too many lines, more lines than he needs. But
Does he appear in that weird space suit with a little dingle?
no, thank God. But let's see here. It centers around 4 characters, and it's 4 women. Let's see here.
That was a chick
Katsumi
from,
played
Sin
by
City.
Katsumi played by Devon Aoki, who's appeared
Yeah.
in Sin City and Too Fast, Too Furious. Jamie Presley from My Name Is Earl.
Who plays?
She plays Tina. Let's see here. God, what's her name?
She's a hottie too.
No, the best hottie is the chick who plays Christy, and all of a sudden I'm blanking her name. But if you've seen Prison Break, let's see. Holly Valance, that's it. And if you've seen Prison Break, she played Michael's Russian wife, Mika, on that show. And then some chick I've never heard of who played Helena, and she's like 19 and really hot, but that's all I remember about her. It centers around the 4 of them, and they go fight in the tournament.
It's more like a side story. It has nothing to do with fighting.
Well, it does. I mean, here's the thing. The whole movie centers around Dead or Alive, which is a tournament held. They never say how often it's held, but obviously it's held like every so often. And the winner of DOA gets $10 million. And so they all go to Dead or Alive Island for... Yes, I'm not making that up. It's called...
Is that like the House of the Dead Island?
Yeah, I guess so.
Next door to Zach Island, where they go after the tournament.
No, they go to Dead or Alive Island. See, Katsumi in the movie is a ninja princess. Yes, and she's looking for her brother Hayate, who disappeared during the previous DOA tournament.
Oh, yeah,
Isn't
that
her
sounds,
brother Ein?
authentic to the game?
I don't know, but anyway, and so she leaves the ninja stronghold, and so the ninjas are so pissed that she leaves the ninja stronghold that they send Ayane after her. So throughout the whole movie, Ayane is hunting her and trying to kill her throughout the whole movie. Ayane, interestingly enough, she's a ninja, and yet not Japanese, not even remotely Asian.
Does she have purple hair?
Yes, it's a white chick with purple hair.
Huh.
She must have been abandoned somewhere in
Yeah,
Japan.
I guess, yeah.
Raised in
And
the
also,
wild.
apparently, the ninjas train on the summit of Everest because when Katsumi escapes the ninja fortress, she jumps over this giant wall, and as she falls, you see the ninja fortress is just like this fortress in the clouds,
Huh.
surrounded by nothing but clouds.
Well, it's probably easier than having to do the whole set.
Yeah, I mean, the fighting in the movie is pretty bad. I mean, the wire fu is lazy. How lazy? If you've seen like the Charlie's Angels movies, they look lazy because Drew Barrymore and Cameron Diaz have no idea how to do martial arts. It's just as bad, maybe even worse. There's a couple people that know how to fight. And, of course, my favorite scene in the movie is the fighting montage. When you see Tina and Katsumi and Zach and Bass and all of them training, and then you cut to Helena. And what's she doing? She's rollerblading. I'm not making this up. In the training montage, they cut to several scenes of her rollerblading, and not even very fast, just like very leisurely, like, oh man, I'm having a good day, I'm on the beach. And Zach, when he gets beat in the tournament, and you think, all right, Zach's gone. He shows up because they need an announcer for the volleyball scene.
Oh, damn.
Oh, God.
And
what
it's
the
like,
hell?
Good, no Zach. And then he shows up, and you're like, damn it. And there's this really ridiculous plot about this evil mastermind wanting to copy all their fighting styles and download them into his sunglasses. I'm not making this shit up. Seriously, he puts on these sunglasses, and all of a sudden he can copy all their fighting styles because he downloaded them into his computer.
Or he can leisurely rollerblade.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if that's better or worse than the standard DOA plotline of trying to steal their genetic information and making an evil clone, which I think is DOA 4 and maybe even 3. And
well,
maybe 2.
clones are better than, downloading them into your sunglasses.
This is making
and there's a subplot about this, about Christy and the guy she came to the island with trying to steal the $10 million.
This is making my hopes for a Bloody Roar movie better.
Yeah. Or maybe a Battle Arena Toshinden movie, yeah.
Why stop there? How about Rise of the Robots?
Or Mortal Kombat 3. I'm sure somebody's trying to make it. We already got Mortal Kombat in that second one, which... What was it? Armageddon?
Annihilation.
That's right.
Or Tekken. World needs more Yoshimitsu.
Yeah. But
I'm waiting for the Soul Calibur
the
movie.
game, I mean, like I said, the fighting, for the most part, is just bad. It's lazy.
So it's an action movie with crappy fight scenes.
Yeah, and the movie has unique pedigree, too. The movie was directed by Corey Ewan, who most people won't know. I know because he was a HK director. The only thing... I think he's done a couple of American movies that I can't name. The big thing he did was that he was Jet Li's double in The One. Whenever you see Jet Li fighting himself, he's fighting Corey Ewan, who actually directed DOA. But two of the producers on it are Paul W.S. Anderson, who directed Mortal Kombat and Aliens vs. Predator.
Go figure.
And one of the other producers is Mark A. Altman, who has the distinct... I don't know what you would call it. Anyway, he was the screenwriter on House of the Dead.
Oh, jeez.
This movie was doomed from the start.
Yes.
It was doomed before it started.
And then you told me, John, when I had inquired about it earlier, that the women in the movie do not wear the same outfits that they do in the game.
Katsumi wears pants the whole time.
Yeah.
She wears the same outfit she has with pants.
Fail.
Yes.
Instant fail.
So it doesn't even work as softcore porn, huh?
No, not even.
They didn't have the budget to pay her not to wear pants.
It would have been less expensive for her to wear her costume in the game because there's less material.
Yeah.
I mean...
I will say all four chicks look really hot in their swimsuits during the volleyball scene when they have to play volleyball together.
But
like,
then I'd be
we're
watching...
in the middle of a fighting tournament. Let's take a break and play volleyball.
So what,
but
is
then
that just like the mid-game part? You
the
must win the game of volleyball and have a chance at the $10 million?
Well,
or?
and even true to the game, the volleyball game only goes to 5 points, too. So it's like, I don't really call myself a volleyball fan, but I'm pretty sure, most volleyball games, it's like 1st to 15 or something like that. Let's say Jamie Presley actually is great as Tina, not acting-wise. I mean, that's the best thing about the volleyball scene. No dialogue. I mean, you kind of wish the scene could go on longer.
And then Zach shows up to ruin the moment.
Yeah.
So basically, all we need to do is fast forward to the volleyball scene, watch that, stop the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
The dialogue is
just queue
absolutely
up some girls
atrocious.
on trampolines
And,
instead?
of course, the biggest crime this movie commits is taking the most badass character in all of DOA, Ryu, the super ninja. I mean, and first of all, they don't even call him Ryu. They call him Hayabusa. And he's basically Katsumi's bodyguard, and he's a pussy. He gets his ass kicked pretty easily. And also, he's also a pussy because he also has, like, this high school crush on Katsumi. So every time he sees her, he's like, oh, no, I don't want to see her naughty bits. So.
Wow.
It's really, really lame, and that's the
yeah.
biggest crime. I mean, anybody who's played Ninja Gaiden Black or whatever, knows how much of a badass Ryu is.
Well,
And for them to turn
maybe
it into that
Come
much
much
of a-
better.
Maybe they took the Ryu Hayabusa from the NES Ninja Gaiden, where Ryu's just walking around, and it's like, hey, what was that noise? Who's there? It's like, dude, if you're a ninja, you can sense this. Why are you asking if people are there? And he gets shot from behind like every fucking time. I mean, he's just walking along. Hey, someone shot me from behind. I must be a really good ninja. What the hell?
Oh, and for any wrestling fans, the character of Bass, who's obviously modeled after Hulk Hogan, not played by Hulk Hogan, which actually would have been, kind of neat. No, they get one of Hulk Hogan's NWO teammates, Kevin Nash, and make him Bass. So if you don't know who Kevin Nash is, he wrestled under the name Diesel or Big Daddy Cool or Big Sexy the Giant Killer or stuff like that. I'm not making this up, man.
Before he found one that he liked.
Yeah.
So,
Pick something with big in the title.
dare I ask what rating you would give this movie?
Well, on what kind
I
of
think he
scale are
answered
we
that in
talking
the first hour. Or the
Well,
first
my favorite
hour.
review system is how many dollars would you pay to own this?
0. Luckily, I BitTorrented it. And that's exactly how much I will ever pay for it. So,
Might have been worth a nickel, huh?
I mean, if you guys
I don't
want
think
it,
it was worth the time you waited for it to finish BitTorrenting.
yeah. Well, no, because during that time I was watching Beer Fest, so.
Don't ruin the gag. It was bad.
It's just, I guess on a scale of 10, I would give it 2.5.
Wow.
And that's
Where-
assuming you had a couple of beers.
Yeah. I mean, and if you want to, figure that out, I would give Ultraviolet, like a -5. So.
This is uplifting.
Oh, my
So
God.
this is 1 out of 10 scales. Does this scale start at 7?
No, I don't write for Game Informer, so.
Right.
Well, let's see. Got a 10 out of 10. Let's use the IGN slide rule here. Let's see. Oh, that's an 8.8. What the?
I mean, the chicks are hot, and
That's it.
yeah, that's it. The kung fu sucks. The story sucks.
Their kung
the
fu
villain
is weak.
is ultra lame. Villain played by Julia Roberts' older brother, Eric Roberts. He Best of the Best and Best of the Best 2 fame. So he does have some martial arts credibility. But
Too bad he couldn't use
Yeah.
it. Don't.
I think I have more martial arts credibility than some of these people. All right. Well, ew.
I bet your fighting style would be very entertaining.
Yes.
yes, do you use legalese like Jack Thompson in Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
Armageddon?
Objection. Do a phoenix right there. Oh, have you seen there's an artwork, I think it's on 4chan, where there's a picture of Jack Thompson and he's drawn like Ace Attorney.
I've seen him photoshopped into Ace Attorney screenshots.
Yeah. No, there's an actual drawing that's Jack Thompson, Ace Attorney.
He wishes.
Well, yeah. Hey, he's the best man for this job.
Yeah, that's why he lost his license to practice law in Alabama.
Yeah.
We can't knock Jack Thompson. He's filling a void that if he left, somebody else more smarter might end up filling. So
Yeah.
leave him be. Let him
Yeah.
crackpot his way away.
Buy your I Hate Jack Thompson T-shirts, but leave him be.
Yeah.
Thank him, in fact, if you see him in the streets.
And then key his car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on. I have a game review. I will be doing...
Ominous Horizons.
No, I'm not. Oh, my God.
Ominous Horizons is a game Murdock and I reviewed a couple years ago. It's a Christian FPS where nobody actually dies. When you shoot them, they fall to their knees and pray to God.
Yeah.
More like a first-person prayer or something? Or
No.
It's more like a Roman game.
No. Send all complaints for bad puns to Brian, care of Diehard Gamer. No, because Ominous Horizons had the special feature that the enemies could not be killed by any means whatsoever because they would teleport behind you and sodomize you with wooden onks.
Well, they work
And
from
no,
hell,
I'm not
right?
making that up.
And how we learned about this game was we were bored one night and we were watching TV and we were flipping through the channels. And we came across the 700 Club at E3, and we're like, "Oh, we gotta watch this."
Yeah, but can you run up to him and smack the shit out of him with a Bible? Convert! Convert!
What was it? There was a really great line in that interview too. It's like, "Oh, and the enemies don't die." What was it? They fall to their knees
And pray to God.
and pray to God.
And pray to God.
Where's your God now?
Pray to God they can get out of this crappy game.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's like they use like the Super Noah's Ark engine for that game.
Well, that's not the review I'm doing, but maybe worth revisiting if we ever, decide to do Left Behind or something like that. But
Somebody have to buy it then?
well, there's GameFly.com where we could rent it and then gouge our eyes out.
Then crack the disc in half before we send it.
Yeah, we're going to be going, Mom, I need a melon baller, quick!
But do you have to send your eyeballs back to GameFly then?
Sure. So anyway,
Seeing is believing.
yeah.
So what game are you reviewing?
I am reviewing YGGDRA Union for the Game Boy Advance, and this is a game that is made by our good friends at Sting and published by Atlas. Sting made a earlier RPG called Riviera on the Game Boy Advance, which was kind of a really cult. It had a cult following RPG.
And a small print run too.
Yeah, and this one has a small print run too. Just to add that in.
If you haven't gotten your copy, can you still get one?
Yeah, it's starting to become kind of hard to find now. So YGGDRA Union is basically a strategy role-playing game in the vein of, like, say, Fire Emblem or Shining Force. The difference with YGGDRA Union is that, first of all, when you start a map, you have cards, like an actual collectible card game. And each card has special effects. Each card has an amount of movement, its power level, a ace weapon, and a special effect. At the beginning of your turn, you choose what card you want to use for that turn. The movement is shared among every single unit on the field. So if you have, like, say, 3 people in your party, and you decide to use a movement card of, say, 12, then you have to share 12 movement points among every single person in the field. The power level is also shared. So say, for example, you have a card that has a power level of 1,300. Every character that chooses to fight has a power level of 1,300. Each card also has a special ability like healing, or you can take a enemy character, move them over to your side. But the catch is that you can only really use these powers once. And a character, when you're fighting, can only fight once. And on top of that, you only get when your character, when they choose a character to actually fight another opponent, that's the end of your turn and the end of that card, and you can't use that card again. And you have a limited amount of cards that you can use per battle. So you have to really think out your strategy well ahead of time before you start assigning out cards just randomly. You have to really think out and plan your strategy carefully because you have a limited amount of moves to do what you need to do. So, for example, you have a card with 1,300 attack. Your enemy only has 650. When you get into battle, you choose which character you want to battle, but keep in mind that you can only have one character fight per turn. And what happens is that once you battle, you'll get into the battle screen, and it'll be like a 6-on-6 or a 6-on-3 battle, depending on the type of units there are. And as you're battling, you can choose how passive or aggressive your army is during the battle, so you can change the tactics at any time. So it's a real interesting game, but real unforgiving to newbies. It's very, very high learning curve, and if you make a mistake early on a map, you're pretty much fucked. You have to just plan so carefully for everything, and it's hard to go back, so you don't want to waste cards that have large amounts of movements. You want to make sure that they have a decent power level, want to make sure that they can defend themselves. That's basically the game. It's a really hard game, but really enjoyable. Out of the new rating system that we're using, which is based on a monetary amount, which I'm starting to like more and more. The game retails for $29.99. I found it at a GameStop for $24, and I think out of the $24, I think it's worth, I'd say 19. It's worth $20.
Seems reasonable.
So that was $5 wasted then.
Well,
He
I
took
don't know,
one
man.
for the team, or 5
Yeah.
for the team.
Oh, hey, try watching DOA, man. Hey, and remember, that's not my
He took
last
that up
movie
the
review.
ass.
That's not my last movie review, man. I mean, I'm going to be back to review other video game movies. Hopefully, the Dungeon Siege movie never sees the light of day. Stays locked up in a vault somewhere.
Please,
Oh,
no.
speaking of which, another pedigree, the chick who plays Ayane, I forgot. Yui Bold just cast her as Rain in Blood Rain 2. Because apparently Blood Rain was so good, he can't get any of the original actors back.
Shocking.
yeah.
Should have threatened to beat them up with his boxing skills.
So it sounds like this one is just one of those really in-depth tactical RPGs. And if you can get into it, it's a great deep game, but you really got to dedicate some time to it.
Yeah, and you have to really dedicate some real strict strategy. You can't just play around and goof off.
This
You're
isn't
really
for anybody. It's
it's
another one that falls into the cult following.
yeah. This is a
can't-
definite cult game.
You can't just turn your gambits on and then go to bed and wake up in the morning and find out you've leveled 10 levels.
Yeah,
Like Final Fantasy 12.
does not work that way.
Well, bummer.
It's because it's a real game.
Well,
When real games make you suffer.
Damn straight.
yeah, this game will make you suffer. So next we have Brian and John are doing a team
Co-review.
review here. They're co-reviewing.
Team review.
Yes, team review. They're going to
Co-review.
switch off and do their ultra combo here.
Right there.
So it's a tag team review.
Yes.
Tag me in, man. Use the chair.
As long as you don't have to high-five to switch off between
Yeah.
reviewing there.
Well, but then there's always going to be that time we're going to try to tag out, and then the guy from the other team comes in and distracts the referee, so he doesn't actually see the tag.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
So
remember, kids, wrestling is real.
it is
Real
fun.
entertaining.
All right. So what game are you guys reviewing?
BLOCKUS Club with Bumpy Trot.
Yes, with Bumpy Trot.
You know,
This is a Yowie game? Or?
you know, I met a hooker with Bumpy Trot, kind of.
That was the first time you got Bumpy Trot?
Yeah. Review.
So, BLOCKUS Club with Bumpy Trot is a Japanese import. We recently pulled a couple of copies back from PlayAsia.
On sale, no doubt.
And it's for the PSP, so you don't have to worry about the region locking for it. The title pretty much tells you what the whole game is about. It's BLOCKUS, which is a board game, which you may or may not know anything about, where you're placing Tetris-like pieces on a board with specific restrictions. And with Bumpy Trot it's with the characters from Bumpy Trot, which was an RPG that was released in the U.S. as Steambot Chronicles. The game itself has two modes to it, really. There's a multiplayer mode, which is where we spent most of our time, and a single-player mode
That
that's
was the whole point.
pretty hard to figure out if you don't speak Japanese. There was lots of them little squiggly characters that don't mean jack shit. Yeah.
We call it a foreign language.
We call it
Yeah. But the whole point of the other characters was you were able to move around inside of this house and go to different rooms and
think it
play
was a
different
hotel.
board games. Yeah, well,
I think it was
Board
a
game.
hotel.
hotel. But you got to play different levels of the board game with different people, and
Earned money for doing so.
yeah.
And there were shops you could go to outside of the hotel that would allow you to change your character's appearance. Though I didn't see any way for you to take your customized character and use them in the multiplayer portion, which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I don't think that was part of it.
One of the nice things about it, too, is it supports both the 4-player and the 2-player version of BLOCKUS.
And it's ad hoc, too.
Well, and for the multiplayer, Yeah, it's even better than that because it does all ad hoc game sharing. So even if you're the only person in your state who owns this game, which is a distinct possibility,
Yeah.
Or for many states.
you can actually play the game with 3 other people. All they have to do is go into their game sharing for it. It took us a little bit of effort to figure out how that worked, but what was it? You went into the furthest option on the right on the main menu, which was
there's
in the
3
multiplayer.
options there. And then chose number 2. The second one down below that.
To do the multiplayer with other players. Then you had the choice where the first option was a 4-player game and the second one was a 2-player. So if you
At which
wanted
point
to-
you wait for the other person to click in and they start downloading the game.
So learning hiragana and katakana will probably be a big help for this game.
No, you
Yeah, I
can get through
wouldn't
that
say.
all through trial and error. And actually playing the game itself requires no knowledge of Japanese at all.
No. And oddly enough, if you were able to speak Japanese, you might find it quaint because they seem to pop up with little windows where they express something every time they put something
Every
down.
goddamn move, they have
Yeah.
pages worth of dialogue.
They talk like mofos. It's like, shut up and play the game.
But the game is straightforward, and you can actually find the rules for it online at the BLOCKUS website. So that actually works pretty well. And
It
just-
really is fun to play in a video format, too. It lends something new to the game. And it's not boring at all with the board game, don't get me wrong, but it's really fun to play on a video game system with multiple people, too.
Now
It's nice
I've
playing against computer opponents for it.
now I've
which
played
plays
BLOCKUS
really well.
before. Is BUMPY TROT just a different board game?
No, you're using the characters. You become one of those characters.
Oh,
and
okay,
You
so-
just go move around and play the game in rooms in this hotel.
Oh, okay.
And then the
So-
people you're playing against are characters from Steambot Chronicle.
So
Oh,
if you
okay.
know
From
that,
what?
then it's fun.
Steambot Chronicle.
What is that?
It's a PS2 RPG.
Okay.
Did it come out in this country?
Yes.
That's
It
what it
was
was
known
called,
as
was-
Bumpy Trot Japan and was imported as Steambot Chronicle here.
Okay.
Apparently not a very famous game. But the whole point of that thing was that you got to play as those characters, and that was just your vehicle to play the board game with other people. So
Okay.
And also, one of the things that we did notice when we were playing that I thought was fairly entertaining was those characters had distinct personalities that came through in the way they played the game.
yeah, the AIs were all different when they played the board game, which is kind of cool. It lent something. Some were defensive, some were offensive.
Some
I
were
mean-
smart, some were dumb.
Yeah, literally, and it made the board game a little more interesting. So
Now, are there different variations for the boards?
Well, there's the 4-player and the 2-player. And
But I
that's
mean,
only
at the
variation
actual
that you
physical board itself. Okay.
it's just starting positions basically.
Okay. And how much did you pay for this game?
14. I
Was
think
it
it was
on sale?
$14.95. I think we paid on sale.
get. Yeah, it was quite discounted, actually.
Was it worth the 14?
Oh, I'd definitely say so. For what you get out of it and for the fact that you don't have to have multiple copies of it to play with other people.
I think it's
definitely.
worth $15 if you have other people that want to play the game with you. The single player, if you don't speak Japanese, I don't think you're going to get a lot of value out of it.
But we bought it wholly intentionally to play, with each other and play with other people. I mean, that was the whole point of buying multiple copies. We thought we'd have to have 2 to play the
Turns
game.
out we didn't.
Yeah, who knew?
Okay.
And if
Except
PlayAsia
for-
still has it on sale, it's a real discount.
Okay. All right. There was a copy of Spectral versus Generation on PlayAsia that I was looking at, and I'm like,
It's debatable, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Not the
kind of
best
like,
fighting game, but if it's down to $10, $12, might be worth it.
yeah, even then, I'm like,
Well-
it's better than Rise of the Robots.
Only buy it if you're buying other games and you got that $5 off for every 50 you spend. And
Yeah.
yeah.
But so the PSP is definitely turning out to be a good import platform.
They're finally putting out a decent amount of games that are worth getting the system.
Now all we need is, a PSP without that, high-end smearing technology.
Smearing technology?
Yeah, your finger, the oils on your finger, just get on it real.
Oh.
It's like all
Well,
shiny and
I
everything.
just don't touch the screen. That pretty much covers that one for
Well,
me.
like on the buttons and everything too.
What the fuck do you care if the buttons are got fingerprints on them?
Hey, maybe
Four
some.
fingers to press.
Maybe he's a neat freak. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he polishes his PSP every night before he goes to bed. Yeah, baby, you got to be clean for tomorrow.
No, there's still nothing out there that. makes me
Maybe you
run.
should just get one of
I
those
don't own a
over
PSP, and
covers.
at this point in time, I have no
Chris
desire
needs
to
to
buy
go to
one.
decalgirl.com
So
and
which
get a
handheld
vinyl
systems
cover
do
for
you
his
own?
PSP. So
Yeah,
it's never
sure.
Right now,
see
nothing.
again.
My
it sounds
my
like the whole
GBA
portable
SP.
gaming
yeah.
thing is not
But
really doing it for
I
you.
plan on buying a DS. But I have no.
Like-
The only game I want to play on the PSP is Portable Ops, Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops, and that's only because it's a sequel to Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's getting pretty
I
good
might even
reviews.
cheat and just go read the FAQ on GameFAQs, and that way I'll know
Just
how
get
this.
the plot
Yeah,
details.
just to get the plot details and go. Now I don't have to play the game.
Snake, you've caused a time paradox.
I'm looking forward to playing that one though. It looks like there's a whole nifty collection mechanic where you have shoot soldiers, kidnap them, and haul them back to your base, and they start working for you.
That's where you get the multiplayer action going too. That's what
So-
looks really cool.
Does it
about
take place in Guantanamo Bay? What's going on with this thing?
No, you
That's
couldn't trust
Gitmo.
those guys.
Gitmo? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
it don't Gitmo better. Hey, you think I'm making that up? When I sailed into Gitmo the first time, that was painted in giant letters on the pier. It was graffiti, but somebody was obviously bored one night
Or drunk.
and just spray painted "It don't Gitmo better" on the biggest pier in the whole naval base. But
Nice. I
Yeah.
hope all the detainees get to see that when they're coming in.
They probably can't read it.
you have to remember when I was doing this, we were trying to take the Haitians back to Haiti. So
Right.
So anything else we need to add before we wrap this up?
Here's something you can't understand.
I don't know. We can start making random noises now.
No.
yeah, you can do that.
No, Steve's not here. So,
I'm trying to fill in.
yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, it is hard. So, like we said, Steve's going to be gone doing studies for whatever class
Yeah,
he's
studies.
in. Does anyone know what he's studying?
History of erotic art.
Feminism in the
That
90s.
keep it away.
We'll just make up classes, and then hopefully when he comes back,
This
one of
week,
them will be
Steve
right.
switched his major to feminine eroticism.
Yeah.
In the
He's going for that
1920s.
women's studies degree. So
This is a woman. Study it. There'll be a test in 6 weeks. Does it work that way? Am I doing it wrong? I don't know.
No, they test you every fucking day.
Yeah. Send complaints to... yeah, that's it for Die Hard Gamer Radio. Join us again next time for more podcast shenanigans.